Hello. So, we've had a tremendous amount of Leo energy this past month. We've had Mars in Leo, we've had Venus in Leo, Mercury, Leo, Sun in Leo. We've talked about this quite a bit, but I just want to say how important it is. A couple of different things. First, I want to say how important it is that now that Mars has moved into Virgo and the rest of the stellium is following suit. I think Venus enters Virgo in the next day or so. The Sun will enter Virgo within the next 3 days or so, and Mercury will be not far behind. We It's great to break stuff down into bite-sized pieces. We talked a lot about this a little bit yesterday, and especially for the rest of today with transiting moon still in Aries, it's great to break stuff down and to be able to puppies. and and to be able to make it bite-sized, because this last month, hey puppies, this last month has been a very inspiring time, very creative time, a very monumentally inspiring time in a lot of ways. But take it from somebody who has natal Mars in Leo as well as natal Venus in Leo, but especially the past 6 weeks when Mars was in Leo, it can be sometimes of a bit of an impractical energy in some ways, because, or at least not as able to steadily, reliably get stuff done and figure out all the details of life, because Mars in Leo functions, and we've all been experiencing this for the past 6 weeks, and I live this. It functions by inspiration and creative inspiration. And when we're inspired, excellent, we can get stuff done tremendously. But when it comes down to the more boring stuff, the stuff that doesn't really promise necessarily the most warm feelings for our hearts, it's coming from a good place, but still, every gift has its challenge, and that's the challenge of that energy is when we're inspired, unstoppable. When we're not, oh God, it's so hard to, it's like a good metaphor is a lion sleeps like 18 hours a day. Well, that's very much my life. If I'm in action, I'm getting stuff done tremendously. If I'm not, it's sleepy time. So it's beautiful that Mars has moved on, and this whole stellium is starting to move on into Virgo. Venus will enter again in the next day or so. Sun just a couple of days after that. And the best way to make use of this energy, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but just to really underscore the importance of this, is to break stuff down into bite-sized projects, bite-sized pieces. So I've been working on an automatic natal reading for the past maybe month and a half or so, and I've gotten a lot done, but only when I was really inspired. And honestly, it hasn't been steady enough for me to feel really good about the progress. So I started outlining it instead of just going, oh, I have to be inspired. Oh, but so what an automatic natal reading is for the first time ever, I'll be able to provide a reading that people will just be able to buy and get an interpretation right away without me needing to be there in real time. And of course, I'm going to keep doing real-time readings. I love doing that. It's a huge part. I have actually a couple coming up. But I really want to be able, I love writing, and that's one of my most popular readings is for the last 7 years or so, I've been offering written readings. So, and I have several of those lined up. And people really respond to that, and they really enjoy it, and I enjoy doing it. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Anyways, enough about all that. Long story short, I'm really excited for this project because I feel like it's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help me to expand past just the limits of human time, which is great. And it'll be good for me professionally and whatnot. But anyways, my point is this, is Mars in Virgo transit, what we're experiencing now, it breaks stuff down into bite-sized pieces. So I started outlining, hey, shut up, puppies. I started outlining that project, and I just, even in the little bit that I started outlining it, instead of just having to sit down and be all inspired and just write a huge 16 word, that's so huge, 1600 word interpretation for natal placement, like Sun in Aquarius or Moon in Aries or whatever, I started getting a lot more done. So my point is this, 2 points actually. One, break it down into bite-sized pieces. I know this video isn't a great example of this, but there's a lot of information here, and the importance of this past month and the overall beginning of so many different cycles, because these different conjunctions, the stellium, that's what a stellium is, it's 2 or more conjunctions, and Leo is really a beginning. A conjunction is like a beginning. for so much growth and culmination, and that cycle continues until the next conjunction. So Mars will take about 2 years to go through all the signs before it ends up in Leo again. I don't know if it will end up, it probably will end up around the time of Sun in Leo transit, maybe Mercury in Leo, maybe Venus in Leo. Those are a lot less likely. But in any case, when all of these energies come together in a stellium again, aside from where we are right now, we'll get to that in a second, but it's going to be a long time. I don't know exactly how long. It could be even decades before we experience this kind of stellium again. It's just so mathematically, what's the right word? I suppose improbable. It's inevitable. It's going to happen eventually, but it could be a long time before we experience that again. And every transit is important. I'm not trying to say this past 6 weeks have been, or especially this past month, have been so much more important. No, it has an opportunity. There's a very real opportunity, and I think a lot of people connected with that. I don't really know the different interpretations of, like some people were throwing around the term Lionsgate. I like that. I don't know what that means. I didn't do the research into that, but certainly I think what that term is connecting with the reality that this last month has been a great time of inspiration, and to act on that inspiration, to be able to move forward and to create a new reality for ourselves is a very real benefit from this past month that we're still actually in. We still have even with Mars moving into Virgo, still on the cusp of Leo. Venus is going to enter Virgo in the next day or so, but it's still on the cusp of Leo. We still have Mercury in Leo, so we're still in this energy. But not only with all that, but when it does move into Virgo over the course of the next, it depends on what it all is. We have Sun and Venus moving on into Virgo in the next couple days. Mercury join in about, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. Anyways, so this stellium moving on into Virgo is a beautiful opportunity to put into practical practice and to grow our skills in order to manifest what we were creatively inspired to manifest this past month. So for those who are artists like myself, this is a really exciting time. For people in general, this is a really exciting time because the art of living, we all have our own unique brushstrokes. And even if you find yourself to be a not very creative person, very logical, very type A type person, or however you would characterize yourself, you still are an artist with your life. You still get to paint your own canvas, your own path through life. A lot of artist metaphors floating around, but it's a really exciting time. So regardless of what you do, regardless of who you are, where we are right now, and especially over the next week, we're going to experience this shift of all of this energy going on into Virgo, and especially over the next couple weeks as Mercury joins. This is a really beautiful time to start manifesting what you were inspired by this past month. As always, I'm doing readings. I'm pretty booked up for this week. I'm starting to get booked up for the first part of next week, but if you're interested in reading, feel free to, of course, contact me as always. Whenever you're ready, it's all good. I'm always going to be doing readings throughout life, no matter what happens. So, yeah, it is a great time it's always a great time to get a reading. It depends on the person, too. Okay, anyways, it doesn't matter. Long story short, if you want a reading, the information for that is in the bio section if you're watching this on Instagram, or the about section on YouTube. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me through email to ask what I do, what I offer, etc. But basically, I just offer insights and try to help as much as possible, practically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, just to help you reach your goals and to understand your gifts and to work through challenges. And we all have gifts and challenges. Peace.